Channel Eater.
Howdy y'all, I've had some ideas for videos floating around the last couple months, and there's one that kind of jumped off the page at me lately, and that's trading card players having problems with sleeves for their decks. Now you'd think the only problem a trading card player would have would be what deck to play, what card to use, what list is optimal, what's in the meta right now, what's going to be counter meta, are there any rogue decks that I need to worry about, what's my matchups looking like. And right now, I think one of the main problems that we face is sleeves. Sleeves are very important for your decks, and what's super important is that you got to rely on these cards, these sleeves, and if you're shuffling, you play so many rounds, and you need these sleeves to hold up. You need them to be quality, and for sometimes some sleeves are just not making the cut right now. Some sleeves are struggling. Some sleeves obviously are better than others. The ones that come in the Pokemon ETBs, Elite Trainer boxes for certain releases, not that great. They do not have the best records of being durable or holding up. And I don't even think they're legal in regional tournaments, in big time tournaments. So that's one thing that you got to look out for. And a problem that we're facing now is a big company called Dragon Shields. Their quality control has not been the best. And I want to bring to light, with my experience, that I've seen some players struggling to find good quality sleeves, and that Dragon Shield's quality control lately has really taken a nosedive, and it has not been great. Dragon Shields back in the day in my maybe 2013, 2014, 10 years ago, I just aged instantly. I felt that. There used to be this brand called KMC. Now, KMC was a Japanese company that had the absolute tip-top quality sleeves. They were the best. Everybody swore by them, and they were kind of hard to come by because everybody bought so many. And you know, card players, we like to have a lot of decks and we like to have a lot of variety, and so we buy sleeves, and my LGS really couldn't have a whole lot. But when you have that clear cut of a favorite, you have room for competition. And the next best sleeve, the next best thing was a company called Dragon Shield. Now, Dragon Shield was great. They're very close second. A lot of people also swore by them. Commander players, I mean, it's 100 count sleeves. The players of Commander for Magic the Gathering swore by these, love these, because they came in a 100 count box. And so you just have to buy one, and your deck is good, and you never really had to replace them because they were good quality. And with 100 cards, 100 sleeves, and 100 deck, if one broke or one went bad, you'd have to buy a whole nother 100 count box. And so you needed a reliable sleeve. And somewhere along 2016, 2017, KMC took a nosedive, and it was not good. Their quality went way south. They started splitting. They started sticking. The seams would rip on the sides here. They would split here. And the shuffle feel was just not great. And players kind of abandoned ship, and KMC really fell off. And thankfully, Dragon Shield was there for us. Dragon Shield here, these Dragon Shields, this specifically is from 2016, just before the fall of KMC. So again, a case back then, I have in my closet my Magic the Gathering Modern deck from 2015, 2014, 2015. That is still in KMC sleeves that feel great. The only reason I didn't bring it out here because it's not Pokemon. They still feel almost 10 years old, and those sleeves still feel fantastic. Now, why do we make a big deal of sleeves as trading card players? Well, in big regional tournaments, you have a lot at stake, a lot of money on the line, and there's a lot of competitors. And cheating is a very big deal. Ask any trading card player in any game, really. They'll tell you that cheating is taken very seriously. There is no zero tolerance policy, and a lot of times you can get instantly disqualified if somebody believes you're cheating. Now, how can you cheat in a trading card game? Well, as somebody who plays fairly, not necessarily, I don't know off the top of my head, but I do know that you can be accused of cheating if you have what are called marked cards. Now, these new KMCs, which I'll get to in a second, are really good. Marked cards would be something on the corner where you have cards that have certain markings, maybe certain indicators, something to let you know visually, that can give you a visual cue that you see, okay, I know this card has this marking on it, and if I can find this card that's marked, I know exactly what that card is, and I can grab it when I need it, or if I can see it coming up in the deck. So that's that's kind of the main thing with a marked sleeve or a marked card in your deck. So if you were to have that in Pokemon, I guess it's up to the judge's discretion, but you could get up to a double prize penalty, which means your opponent has to take 2 less prize cards to win the game. A round loss, which is, I mean, you lose the game completely and have to go to the next one, or a round loss where you lose completely. Or the severest punishment is a disqualification, which is you do not want to have. You're paying all this money to go there. It's like a $70 entry fee, plus travel, plus, you know, lodging, hotel, food. There's a big investment, and you do not want to get disqualified from that. Nobody wants that. And so to counteract that, you carry your sleeves. And these gold ones specifically, I took to San Antonio. So, story time. The reason why I'm making this video, in April of 2023, when Sword and Shield launched, I had made the Gardevoir deck, which is this deck right here. I made this deck back in April of 2023, and it was great. The sleeves I put it in were pink Dragon Shield sleeves, and it held up okay. They were fine, but around October, when I was at a regional, or not a regional, I was at a League Cup, I noticed, hey, these sleeves are kind of rough, man. They're kind of a little grimy. I think it might be time to upgrade these. I saw these pink sleeves that I had needed some work, and they were kind of dirty and grimy, and it was probably time for a change. And I noticed some marks on them, and I thought, oh man, this is a League Cup. Could I get disqualified for this? And nobody called me on it, and I did not do so well there. So I didn't have to face the deck check. So afterwards, I asked around. I said, hey, could these count as marked cards? Could this get me penalized? And they're like, they didn't know for sure because they weren't judges. But they said it's best not, in their experience, these other players who were more experienced than I was, said you just probably don't want to roll the dice and get new sleeves or swap that sleeve out. And I took that to heart. I said, okay, for San Antonio, I will get new sleeves. And so I bought these gold sleeves right here for my Gardevoir deck. Now, I bought that in just before Halloween, and I didn't open them until the Wednesday night before I drove to San Antonio, when I submitted my deck list. So I figured I would double check my deck list, and I would re-sleeve the cards there that night before I took off to San Antonio. And from that Wednesday night to that Saturday morning, I shuffled a couple times just to feel them, to sort of break them in a little bit. And I thought, okay, these are brand new fresh leaves, should hold up, everything should be great. And it was good for the first 2 rounds. They were a little slick, a little slippery, as new sleeves tend to do, which I didn't mind. And my opponent was kind of cool because we both had the same problem. Brand new box fresh sleeves, and they were slipping and sliding as they do. And it was fine. First 3 rounds, they were fine. And it wasn't until I finished up that 3rd round, I'd say I think I got beat 0-2. And I looked at my cards and I noticed, oh no, a couple of these already have bends and creases on the corners. And I don't shuffle very hard. Like, I do not shuffle very hard. I mash, but I do not shuffle. I have a video of myself shuffling that I'll probably post up here. But I just gently mash shuffle. I'm not manhandling these cards. I'm not roughhousing them. I do not abuse my cards. And I noticed some of them had some bends on them, and I swapped them out real quick. And I think I went through maybe 5-6 sleeves in total when it was all said and done at round 9. I didn't make day 2, so I didn't have to really worry about it. I didn't get deck checked again because I didn't do so hot, but I wanted to avoid getting rule sharked and not being disqualified and potentially missing out on points. I was a couple of places short of making points, but it didn't matter. I was very nervous. I was super worried about being disqualified or being accused of cheating. So I got ahead of it, and I swapped out the sleeves. Now, after San Antonio, I thought maybe Dragon Shields are kind of rough. This deck, which now houses my Goldango deck, it was very rough around the edges. These edges were very rough. The corners poked me, I don't know how many times throughout the day as I reached here. and it was just a really not a good experience for Box Fresh. Now they're broken in, they're not that bad now, but even as I've played casually, played tested with some friends online over Discord and webcam, I've noticed that, oh man, these are still, I think I've swapped out maybe 2 more sleeves for whatever reason, just to keep it nice. And I'm seeing also other people complaining about Dragon Shields online. One person went through a bunch of Dragon Shield sleeves. According to this player on Twitter, 31 of their Dragon Shield sleeves split and cracked. They had 30, well, that's over half their deck. Half of their deck, almost a third of the entire sleeves in that box were defective. That's a problem with 31 sleeves. That's absolutely mind-blowing to me. So after having my personal experience, I thought maybe Dragon Shield just ain't it anymore. And so I went looking for the KMC brand that I mentioned earlier. I thought, whatever happened to KMC? Did they go under? Are they still around? Can I buy some old dead stock sleeves? Because these Dragon Shields, they ain't it, chief. And so sure enough, I went and looked, and I did some digging. I went online, and I saw a post on Reddit saying, great source of information there, but I saw that they were back and that apparently KMC is back to their old quality. So I did some further digging and I found the account of the owner. So the problem, what happened with KMC, the owner was very hands-off with the company. And unfortunately, sometime after their initial decline, the owner passed away. And the brother of the original owner and somebody named Scott took over. And Scott, I'm guessing, is sort of a PR manager, a community relations manager, somebody who's handling the outward facing of the company. Now, I found his account, and he is saying that they're back to the good quality. They're back to the old quality. And I said, you know what? Let me find this out for myself. So I went online looking for some KMC sleeves, and I was unsure of what to buy. I saw a link to some on Reddit. On Amazon, and I wasn't sure of which to buy. So I just said, let me email him and find out what's going on. And to my surprise, I got a reply back from him with the byline of sleeve jobs. So I thought, you know what, this guy, he knows that's just from that name alone, I'm going to buy a box of sleeves, and I'm going to go with it. And he sent me a link online, and I went there, Amazon, surprisingly, and they were Prime eligible, and I got these KMC sleeves for my God of War deck. And I'm going to tell you, I think they're good. I don't remember what the box fresh sleeves of KMC 10 years ago felt, but from comparing this right now to the way my old Magic deck felt absolutely wonderful. And the funny thing was, when these were brand new out of the plastic, they didn't slip and slide around as much as the Dragon Shields did. Now, I had a great time playing this a couple times at locals and playing over webcam and Discord with my friend Alex, who was prepping for going to Portland, and he also was facing the problem of finding good sleeves. And that's one of the reasons why I decided, let me go see what the deal is with KMC. And so I said, you know what, man? I like them. They're good. If you want to try it, I would go with KMC. We don't need them to last forever. We just need them to last 9 rounds. We just need them to survive 9 rounds of play and with as minimal splitting as possible. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it to Portland because of the snowstorm that hit up there. And he had bought some katana sleeves, I believe, from Ultimate Guard, and he ended up really liking those. So good for him. The only problem with Sentinel and katanas is they're having supply issue where people can't find them at their local store, and that's one of the main reasons, or that's another reason I should say, why we're facing this problem, is we can't find good sleeves. Good sleeves are out there, it's just we can't get to them because there may be, I don't know, there might be supply chain issues, there might be something somewhere along the line that they're just not getting to our hands, and so we're stuck scrambling. And I hope everybody who went to Portland was able to get some. That just happened, and I hope it was a good time. Lost Tina mirror match in the finals, great showing from everybody there, and I hope to get to go to more. and I want to make a video coming soon about preparing for that sort of event, and sleeves are a big part of it, and that video led me to make this video talking about sleeve problems. And so here we are. We're after Portland, and there's another one coming up. I believe Charlotte and Knoxville are coming up, so I hope to get that video out by then. But if you're looking for sleeves, I want to say KMC, I think, is back, baby. I think KMC is good now. This is no, nothing. I'm not getting anything from him. He doesn't know I'm making this video, and KMC is back. I don't know how great these are going to be in 6 to 8 months, like the Dragon Shields lasted me 6 to 8 months, but for the first month and change that I've been playing with this, I like it. Maybe not month and change, maybe a couple of weeks, but I like these sleeves, and they certainly held up a little bit better. I have yet to replace one sleeve in this. I've yet to replace one sleeve for these KMC sleeves. I've yet to replace one out of the first couple of that I had to replace those Dragon Shields. And even these old Dragon Shields, these here, this Chien-Pao deck that I had, these are 2014 Dragon Shields, and they're holding up. They are just fine. I mean, they're a little stiff. The best way to describe it is like they're kind of stale, but they still feel smooth. They still feel okay, and man, they're fine. I haven't had to replace really any of these. So if you're a TCG player looking for sleeves, man, it's crazy. It's crazy how we're having this problem in 2024. To sort of wrap this whole thing up, I really just wanted to bring attention to the sleeve problem that we're having, whether it's supply shortages, quality control problems, or just overall finding the stock that we want to get. And I've seen some people in isolated circles talking about it online, but I really wanted to get my voice out there and make a video, because I haven't seen really a video talking about this problem. And maybe this isn't as a big a problem as I think it is, but in the circle that I've seen and the people that I've been talking to, I think this is a little bit of a problem. And who knows, maybe in a couple months this gets all sorted out. Dragon Shield can up their quality control and fix a lot of their problems. But KMC, I think, is the real deal here. And like I said, see me in a couple months when these things have seen some real action. And of course, if I go to NAIC or any other ones, I will be buying new sleeves. But I think the new ones that I do buy will be KMCs, just like my old ones, because I really do like these. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.